At 4 p.m, Penella's cavalry corps is on the attack, having arrived behind Gamelos' corps, but the Marquis Decimaus is unaware of this fact. As far as Decimaus knows, his corps is entirely alone, outnumbered, and taking horrendous casualties. One of his divisions is already exhausted and will attack no further, and on the left, units are breaking and falling away. A great charge in the centre by the Royalists takes heavy casualties, but succeeds in overrunning the guns, and the infantry push on, and Decimaus decides the day is lost. He forms up with his cavalry brigade and determines to make a march around the enemy's eastern flank, find Rostopki, and ask for reinforcements. The unit moves off, the sounds of battle raging behind him, when all of a sudden the muskets stop, and raucous cheers erupt. Decimaus halts and looks behind, but nothing can be seen, just smoke and fields of wheat. The Marquis decides to halt and return to his ranks, fearing the worst, but hoping for the best. And it is the best. Penella has spent some time surrounding a block of Royalist infantry who have formed an enormous square, but realizing these mice will not give in easily, she has ordered the heavy horse to move on, looking for more vulnerable targets. And find them she does. The infantry of Gamelos' 3rd Division, disrupted and pinned and exhausted from hard fighting with Decimaus. The heavy horse ride over the hill, across the stream, and into the rear ranks. It is a surfeit of chaos. Units break and rout and run, and the heavy cavalry pursue them into the remnants of Decimaus' corps, where they throw down their arms and surrender. His right wing has simply disappeared, and the Baron orders his centre and left to begin withdrawal to the west, where his guards hold the high ground. There is some mopping up in the east, but Penella is on the move to attack the rest of Gamelos. But Decimaus' corps is exhausted and much diminished. The Marquis himself has returned to his formations and ridden forward to find Penella. They meet on the field a few minutes before 6 o'clock. The sun will soon be setting. "You have impeccable timing, Countess," Decimaus says. "It took a while to find the battlefield," she replies, "but it looks like we have broken them completely here." As in comedy, in battle, timing is everything, and Penella has spent so long getting to the enemy rear that the day is nearly gone. And Decimaus' corps is exhausted, and really in no position to assist. As a result, much of Gamelos' corps is able to withdraw to the west. There is a battery that has become pinned by enemy attack, and proves unable to limber and move off, even with shouting and orders and the personal presence of Baron Gamelos himself. The battery keeps on firing, but is eventually destroyed by a determined infantry attack. As darkness falls, there is another cavalry charge, and a unit of Royalist regulars are overrun, but a counterattack by a determined group of cavalry is successful, pushing back some heavies against the odds. As the day ends, both armies are exhausted and divided. Gamelos' corps is isolated in the north, and Rostopki is alone and heavily outnumbered in the south. Both formations will march through the night, making the slow and difficult passage back to their own lines. In the morning, both sides hold councils of war to discuss the situation. The Royalists decide that they will hold their position. They are strong in the south, and the road to Milbekaese is still open. The Loyalists are divided. Penella argues strongly that they should attack, or march on Milbekaese, but Rostopki and Decimaus are less convinced. The infantry has taken heavy casualties, the Guards' corps is completely destroyed, and the Loyalists are without any surviving artillery. They determine that the battle has been lost, and they must retreat through the Fetka Gap and return to the Bergkäse. The Loyalists are correct. They have taken very heavy casualties in the battle. Nearly 26,000 mice have been killed, wounded, or captured. They now have less than 60,000 mice ready for battle. The Royalists have nearly 80,000, but are in no position to pursue. They have taken 14,000 casualties, and Gamelos' corps in particular is exhausted. It is another defeat for the Loyalist cause. In the coming weeks and months there will be complaints among Gudarian's militia that this war has gone on too long. Surely it will only take one more significant Royalist victory to wrap up the campaign. Gudarian had such high hopes of victory at 2nd Milbekaese, so what went wrong? From the perspective of hindsight, there are 3 major errors. Firstly, the Loyalist army was operating on false information. They thought they outnumbered the Royalists and that Pigafetta was far away in the east with 20,000 mice. Secondly, Gudarian was unwell on the day of battle, and command reverted to Rostopki, a capable general but without that spark of personal charisma and cruel determination. Thirdly, Rostopki loosened Gudarian's plan of attack, sending the Guards on a flanking move to the south, and Penella's cavalry to the east in search of the enemy's rear. This led to the Guards being surprised and destroyed, and for Decimaus's corps to be devastated and exhausted by Gamelos before Penela could return and snatch a wind from the jaws of disaster. But the royalist cause is not above criticism either. Pigafetta's decision to attack Rostopki, knowing he was outmoused and the enemy held the high ground. Very strange. And Gamelos' corps fought its own battle, independent of the rest of the army. Gamelos could have marched to the sound of the guns in the south, ignoring Decimaus and Penela. The army, combined, could have utterly destroyed Rostopki and the guards, then turned to face Decimaus and Penela together. Had this been done, the war would now be over. As it is, the conflict